All right, we got the biggest game of the year this weekend. We got an electric golf tournament this weekend. We got NBA trade deadline and one of the greatest, biggest trades to discuss. And we're not talking about any of it off the top because we are talking a little thing called Donk Fest 2023. This is what I love. This is what gets me up in the morning. This brings me back to the old school poker days where you're talking shit on the forum and then you just go, hey, money where your mouth is. So for anyone who doesn't know, yesterday in the Discord, the threads all blew up. There was 150 messages in the old Deposit Kingdom Discord for the Badge Bros there. And in the baseball thread, people are just going at one another. And it starts innocent and it starts, hey, you can't draft pitchers. And then it just takes a whole bunch of left turns. And it goes, yeah, what kind of house you live in, what kind of car you drive. It's going crazy. Everybody's talking shade. And then it just goes, put your money where your mouth is. We're having a draft right fucking now. And this is old school. Put your money where your mouth is with peer-to-peer gambling, peer-to-peer gaming. This is what it's about. This is what drafts were made for. This is what I'm all about. Put your money up. You think this, I think that. And I couldn't stop laughing because it basically all started over the notion of you can't start drafts with 3 pitchers. And all I was thinking in my head was, oh my God, this is zero RB all over again in a different environment 4 years later. It was beautiful.
It was just glorious because he started the whole thing was started with a just a spelling error that started with, instead of saying Cole, it was like Burns in the third.
Burns.
Yeah. Koki Burns in the third.
Yeah, he's got 8-ball Burns now for the rest of our shows.
He's got a new nickname now. Life. Yeah. So I mean it's crazy. I honestly, if anyone has no idea what we're talking about, yes, it may seem like a big read, but if you have the 20 minutes to scroll through, I can send you where to start. And it's a fantastic read. When he says left turns, I mean, it literally goes from a quick, like, oh, this guy's coming in here. We're talking strat. We're talking, I don't like this, to donkeys more than I have seen in a thing. And I mean, the amount of the sheet. I mean, first of all, can we just talk about the fraud baseball? I mean, the fact that he doesn't make his own projections, I just found out yesterday, and he just does the sheet. I mean, what are we doing here? So it's just hilarious. I mean, the amount of sheet references we had, that it's the be all end all. The sheet says.
Yeah. So let me drop the references. During the chat, it kept coming back to the sheet. So the sheet is baseballs that he puts together, the projections. We've talked about it all the time when we're doing the baseball shows. It's listed in the description below there if you want to follow along with that. But like the big overarching reference was like the sheet. The sheet is undeniably this overlord that governs all of our drafting. The sheet is always right. Was like kind of like the shtick. So it was really funny to see the reference over and over again. But like, this sounds like toxic and it sounds like batting heads with one another, but it wasn't. It was just like, it was the beauty of why community like this exists, right?
It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun.
We picked up right away when he basically is like, I'm the king donkey, y'all are just donkeys. Like we realized he was just basically a chip, but I'm going to tell you my opinions in a out forward way. So it seemed like that at first, but then everyone started like getting the vibe and talking. It was hilarious. I mean, the greatest thing, the TLDR, was someone goes, what did I miss? And someone posted the chat and it just said several people typing. And it's like, that's what you missed for the entire day, was you never knew who was going to send a comment. It was just, it was glorious. It was awesome.
So the end result of it all was they're talking about the sheet. They're talking about this is baseball sheet, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's seen it. So it results in a private draft. It results in everybody get in here, everybody draft this. And now I think it's our duty, guys, to pick the winner of said draft so that there is some merit attached to this, right? Because if you have the Donk Fest and then you have the draft and we wait for the entire season to play out, I think we have to declare a winner right now. Like, I think that's our duty.
Sheep just strictly going 5 pitchers. Just for the bit, Sheep wins it in my heart.
Yeah. So Dark Sheep leans into what started it all, the piss purple off the top, and he doesn't piss 3 off the top. From the 12 spot, he goes with 5 straight pitchers to start the draft and then doesn't take another pitcher the rest of the draft. It's beautiful to lean into the bit that hard. And for that alone, I think Sheep wins. Like, I agree with you, Newt. I think Sheep has to be declared the winner for leaning into the bit and still creating a sound, logical team that can win, right?
Got to be.
That's the thing. But that's the thing. Apparently, this team immediately has no chance. This is a 12th place team, according to Buck. Like this is no chance, no dice. He's not moving out. No chance to advance. So that's the whole thing coming back to it, which I'll disagree, and I say that definitely does have a chance. Is it less likely? But yeah, it's just hilarious.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved reading through it. I wasn't about to get involved. I was just gonna let the chips fall where they may, have a laugh and whatever. It was great. It was great entertainment. So I appreciate everyone that. But I had to hit it right off the top. I had to lead with that because there's a lot of big things in sports right now. But for our little pocket, our little community, there was nothing bigger than Donk Fest 2023 yesterday.
Where were you? Where were you for Donk Fest 2023? Everyone's gonna remember.
Man.
Was Patrick Sandoval drafted in that draft? Or he was, obviously. I just wondered by who.
A big talking?
That was the reason that started it all. That was the entire thing when Nez came in and saw. Oh, I know we're not talking about like small player takes and all this. Like, surely we can't be. It literally all started from Patrick Sandoval and saying he in the sheet he was. What is he?
It was him and Nick Pivetta both.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, Pivetta came after. Pivetta came after, but it started with Sandoval.
Nick Pivetta was drafted at the 208 from SoCash, or S0 Cash.
Right.
And sorry, who was the other one that I was looking for?
Patrick Sandoval, because it goes Patrick Sandoval is projected 47th, and he's taken the last round. So he was just trying to say, like, yeah, it was just a funny thing. And
the irony in Donk Fest. The irony in Donk Fest is Patrick Sandoval went undrafted.
After all that.
That's great.
All that.
I don't see him. Great. Patrick Sandoval went undrafted after he started this entire argument. I'm looking through it right now.
One of the first names you're going to see on this start, if you go look through it, is like just the Patrick Sandoval and the sheet reference and how he's projected 48th, but he's last round.
Right. Oh my God. This is beautiful. This is so good that he started the argument and then went undrafted. Oh my God. That's incredible.
Speaks for itself, man.
Oh my God.
It was
beautiful.
Great.
Man. But I couldn't get enough of the pissing contest that starts with you don't know shit about fantasy baseball to what kind of car do you drive? Like, like it's what do you do for work?
Did that come up?
It's like it's just classic. I don't know, but it's like he was mentioning like housing prices and something in there, and it's just like the classic dudes like dick measuring contest in a thread.
At one point, he was like, I'm standing next to a beautiful woman right now. So,
he was that's what I didn't get. Yeah. He was like, he was standing next to an Indian woman taking Indian food, and Naz was just like, pause, and he's like, I'm door dashing, and Naz is still like, pause, like what? Why did this need to be said?
That's what I love when the real world comes into it and it strengthens your argument by flexing on someone else. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it really did restore the old school like forum feeling of the internet.
Exactly, right?
Like that's what I was looking to build. I didn't know I was looking to build something like this, but I actually was the whole time, just restoring the old school forum argument type feeling. So keep it up, guys.
Sheep's thing yesterday was scam in the chat. Goes 5 pitcher after he sees the board, and Sheep just puts a gif of a sheep winking, just goes wink, like it gets just the whole thing. Just everyone just doing it for the bit was glorious.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Great work.
All right, let's transition. Great work by the Discord yesterday. Great entertainment. Had to lead with that. That's good. Let's talk about the hoops trade. There was 2 big ones last night. Jacob Poeltl and KD there. I just want to hit that real quick. Then let's talk football. Then let's draft football. Then let's draft basketball. Let's do something like that. But the trade last night, the KD one. I mean, I think the
2 trades, sir.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the KD one. I don't care about the Jacob Hurtle one.
D'Angelo Russell,
but like
Russell Westbrook.
Oh, the D'Angelo Russell one. Yeah, that too.
That was wow.
Okay.
Yeah, yesterday. Was
that was yesterday. Earlier in the day. That was crazy.
Oh, Thomas Bryant. He's no longer a Laker. Get him out of there. Trades are happening right now. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the KD one. Like, obviously, that's the big piece. I mean, on paper for the West, like the West is so wide open right now. Like Phoenix looks like an absolute juggernaut.
They look like I mean, you get them back healthy. They look like they're the on paper clear cut favorite. Like, that starting lineup is nasty. It's nasty.
And they're gonna find depth. Like the thing is, like you can find rotational depth in the postseason. Like all those guys are playing 35 plus minutes, right?
Yeah, they
like,
already
you can
have
find
depth.
rotational. Yeah, I mean, like yeah, sure. But like they can find added like vet depth later as like other people's contracts get voided, as other guys sign like league vet minimums to add to that roster. Like their roster is going to get better, but like that 4 to build around is big. But Nez, I know you kind of got you kind of had mixed feelings that were different than mine on this. What was your biggest takeaway from that one?
I mean, at this point, you have to think the East is clear for Cam Thomas to kind of lead the charge, right? I mean, you bring him in these role players from the Suns. I mean, you give him Mikal Bridges, you give him Jay Crowder, you give him a number 2, so that way the defense and Spencer Dinwiddie. You can't just wait. What'd you say?
Jay Crowder got traded to the Bucks.
So that well, that's one less role player, but it's okay. It's okay. He's got Dinwiddie as the number 2, so that way defenses can't just all
the number 2
on him. I mean, it's Cam Thomas season, and if you aren't ready for it, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's you're declaring for him to lead the charge in the
Cam
East.
Thomas season off the bench, baby.
Don't let me put words in your mouth, but by the sounds of it, you are declaring that the KD trade is not the KD trade. The KD trade is the Cam Thomas deal.
Yes, it's the setup Cam Thomas for success. How do we think about it. Cam Thomas, 40 points in the 3 games without KD. All they did was add more players to that team. So
that's a great point.
You tell me who got better.
I can't.
Cam Thomas is going at the 1-2 turn today.
Is he for real?
Yes.
I mean, that's where his ADP is, but if that actually stays true, we'll see.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's the easiest fade, just over and over and over again. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious. Like when I saw that, I literally go, where am I going to have to look at Cam Thomas's ADP today? And I'm like, oh, I won't have to, because he will not be in my rankings, because he's literally nearly outside the top 30 on a 4-game slate.
Cam Thomas is going ahead of DeJounte Murray. You love to see it.
Yep.
Oh my God,
baby, eat that up.
That is so good. I love it. Do you guys want to say anything else on the other big trades from yesterday? At all, or do you want to talk football?
I mean, I think most people, like, the sentiment is that the Lakers did a great job with that D'Lo trade, and I agree. That was a really good job by them to make that move. They got better. D'Lo fits that team way better than Russ does. I don't know that makes them serious. Like, I don't think it does, but definitely makes them more enjoyable, and they will win more games now, I would think. But I think the shoe to drop is like Russ is almost certainly getting bought out in Utah. So it'll be cool to see where he goes. There's been talk that the
Shanghai Knicks. He's going to China.
Dude, he has something to offer to an NBA team. Though.
Yeah, he has a negative point differential, and to hamper your team if you want a chance to win.
Okay, I mean, put your spreadsheet away.
Seriously, can we just stop with the plus minus overview just for 2 seconds?
Brother, he doesn't help your team win. He never has.
See, that's not true. That's just not true.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
Sucks at this sport.
I mean, it is never. What has he won? What has he ever won?
Russ, to say Russ has never helped the team, like just take a deep breath to say that he's never ever helped the team win ever.
I'm just trying to figure out what they've won.
Forget like wins are a team stat. Wins aren't an individual player stat. So throw that shit out the window. He hasn't won shit with a team yet. Correct. Yes. Like, does he have a crazy high usage and maybe negatively impact his team around him at this point in his career? Maybe. But do you think he could be like a viable 20 minutes off the bench when a team's down 15 in the playoffs and they need a spark to get back into that game? Russ can fit that mold perfectly. If he just goes, hey, I can be that sixth man. I can come off the bench when we're down 15 in a postseason game.
But that's totally different than what he is and what he expects. Like, to tell Russell Westbrook you're going to get 15, 20 minutes as a role player, good luck.
I mean, that's basically what he's been doing all year, like 26 minutes off the bench. Like, that's basically what the Lakers tried to do with him. And then he's gotten more minutes because LeBron's been out, because AD's been out. No?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the not coming out, not the sixth man off the bench. I'm talking about just a role player, like 10, 15 minute type thing where it's like, you're not going to, you're going to be there for that spark, but you're not going to be the guy to hamper the team. Like,
he's not going to have a choice.
That's what I'm saying. The dude does not help a team. The dude shoots 34% or 30% from three. And he doesn't do anything on the court good except assist. Like, there's nothing he does well that fits the team.
The thing that's interesting with Russ is like the game has low key passed him by. Like he's oh shit, what was the guy's name? The big hands couldn't shoot a free throw Celtics guard.
Big hands couldn't shoot a free. How old? How what era? Like
Rajon Rondo?
Like Rondo. Like Rondo. That's like Rondo, like he couldn't shoot the three, he couldn't shoot the free throws, and like nobody had to respect him and play like defense on him in like those, like once everybody found out that you never had to close out on him, like Russ is almost getting that kind of disrespect.
Well, you know what I'm saying? The only thing is Russ shoots about 10 to 15 times more per game than what Rondo would do. So that's the part I'm hampering, where he's just like, he doesn't understand his skill set, and that he literally, if he wants to be Rondo, go ahead, be that guy that gets up 20 assists. Be the guy that does not shoot the ball. Like, the difference between him and Ben Simmons is Russ can't shoot, but is willing to shoot all the time. Ben Simmons probably could actually maybe put some in the bucket, but he's scared and will never do it. Like, I'd rather have.
I was just making the comp in terms of. I was just making the comp in terms of like guys that the game has passed by, because the game is so heavily oriented around shooting the three, especially if you're going to be a guy who comes out in big fantasy per minute guy off the bench, and that's where he kind of falls by the wayside now. Let's stop talking about.
I need to do some research on Rondo's hands, though. Rondo has ginormous hands.
Rondo was known for like the biggest mitts in the league, man.
It's tough to have a point guard that you need to hide on the court.
But what I was trying to say about Russ's like landing spot outside of Utah was that the talk is that he's going to stay in LA and go to the Clippers and sign with the Clippers for something cheap. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition.
We already have a terrible point guard in John Wall. What are we doing? Just like those reports. What are we doing? Like,
he's not expected to be the starting point guard, though.
I get that, but like you already have a point guard that isn't good.
I would gladly take Russ on my team if I was a contending team, and he would be my 6th, 7th, or 8th rotational player, and was comfortable being on the bench and just being there as a, hey man, this is where your career's at. Sign this vet minimum, whatever. Be on our bench, and we'll try and ride you to a title, or like drag you to a title.
Right. My opinion is he's not useful to any contending team. He never will be. In the future, he won't be useful to a contending team.
He's a Hall of Famer, dude. Like,
he can be a Hall of Famer, but he doesn't fit the NBA right now. He has a 50% true shooting percentage and literally can't do anything. Like he's not even he's slowly becoming a negative defender.
Yeah,
So at
that's
what
fair.
point is everything you're passing him by? Like, and he's just not it anymore.
Yeah,
We'll revisit this after he signs with a contender.
After he's got a ring. After CP3 drags his ass for a ring.
CP3 already tried, and then he left. How many people have left Russ?
KD would not let him in the door if he tried to sign with Phoenix.
KD already said, bruv, I'm leaving you because I know we can't win with you, so I'm going to go win it in Golden State. I mean, it's all on the wall.
Actually, I have met Russ. I played like 10 hours with him one night at the Commerce. Him and KD. Like, he's a big poker guy. Every time he used to come into town into LA.
Hold up. I want to ask Terrence, has he met Russ? Because he comes in here with
sounds like it.
Like he's met him. So I'd like to cut the confirmation that you're not just coming with
blind bulldog.
Yeah. I know. I want to make sure he's actually seen it, because he just comes in with takes and just fires them. And I need to know if he's backing them up with he's met him or not.
Oh man. This is an interesting take. Russ's late career AI that's ruining what he's accomplished. I mean, that's kind of spot on.
Yeah, he peaked in 2016, like he did, and then everything peaked, and then it just slowly started going downhill.
Okay, let's hit the transition button. I didn't mean for us to chat trades or to chat Russell Westbrook for so long, but I didn't know Numi was so passionate about Russell Westbrook sucking either. So that was fun.
I'm gonna stand up for the facts and logic. He's not good. He knows personalities. Of course, right on, Terrence.
Okay, let's talk the big game a little bit here. The further and further I dive into this game, and we've discussed, I kind of want to reset some of the stuff we talked about the previous Monday when we were getting hyped up for the Super Bowl. I'm starting to get hyped up for it again. But like, I think almost everything we stated the previous Monday still holds true now. Like, I think the Eagles have like this glaring, distinct advantage in the trenches on both sides of the ball. And they're just going to bully the shit out of the Chiefs in the trenches. Like, doesn't that just feel how this game is going to go to you guys?
Sure. On paper,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just, I really think that the Chiefs are being like severely underrated. Severely. And it's starting to bother me a little bit. I don't think the Eagles defense is like as ferocious and as scary as we think it is, especially against a Patrick Mahomes led team that is going to be healthy, sans Mecole Hardman. Especially if good.
I was going to say counterpoint. We have the defensive front that basically has 5 guys who can rush the passer at an above league average rate. And they almost broke the all-time sacks record this year, playing against a dude who just got a cortisone shot in his ankle.
That's fair. I would probably, if I was to argue against it, I would say Eagles' schedule was probably the softest in the league this year, like across the board. So, although, I'm not saying they're bad defense. I'm just saying that I don't think this is like the 49ers level defense where it's like they can win the matchup here. I don't see that. I think that the Chiefs will be able to score. Now, if something happens where Chiefs get a turnover on defense and it leads to a score, or they score on that turnover, or a special team score happens, at that point, then if Jalen Hurts is where they cannot lean on the run and just win by running the football, if anything happens where they are forced to win through the air and are forced to score like more points than they're comfortable with, they're going to be in trouble. I fully believe that if they can't just utilize running the football and playing it safe, they're going to be in big trouble. I trust the Chiefs coaching staff. I trust their ability to make things difficult for Jalen Hurts. I love the way Jalen Hurts has played this year. He's been he's been awesome, and he's been doing it a lot with his legs. And if he's forced to throw the football and the Chiefs are able to play this too high coverage that they've been known to play, that at that point then becomes an issue for Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. So I'm really leaning into this. Like, how are we so certain that this is going to play out the way that we think, and lean into Mahomes as a dog? Let me ride Mahomes and the Chiefs here.
Yeah, I mean I think that's really sharp. That's a really good counterpoint. The peoples of the chat calling you out soft. Their division schedule, yeah, their division was definitely difficult. But if you look at their out of conference schedule, like when we did it on that initial show, and we looked at like the quarterbacks in whom they've played this year, like they played primetime Kirk Cousins in like week 2. Like like there's no big glaring player that they've played multiple times that is anywhere near Mahomes's level. Like
So
they
are we going to
haven't
pretend like
played
the NFC East was
quality.
the? I'm sorry, the chat's got me riled up. Are we going to
Okay.
pretend like the NFC East was like that good? Like really? Like
Nez, I'm not
really?
sure if you're aware. Many call it the NFC Beast, actually.
Oh.
So
Oh.
yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Because the Giants went 9-7 and made the playoffs, like all of a sudden they're a real deal Holyfield. Like, okay,
yeah.
man.
I mean, Dayball
All
did
right.
a great job. Dayball did a great job. I won't take that away from them. But yeah, I do think the hype of the division being very strong is a little bit overblown. I think you're correct there. Numi, any macro level takeaways before we talk player takes and builds and stuff like that? What do you think in this game? You got to lean?
No, I mean, I agree with Nez. I just think that I think the sentiment of the public has just been, we know that the Eagles are going to run over them. Basically, that's what I've been kind of seeing. Is it's just going to be like, oh, the Chiefs can maybe, if the Chiefs have to kind of hang in there. Now, I still agree that I'll say that I think that this Eagles offense, that I'm going to point it towards there, and I'll say that this is one of the hardest offenses, just the scheme. Not even like there, just the way that the offense is run in a zone read, and basically you have all of a sudden you either can hand it off to the 3 running backs, or Jalen Hurts is going to do a quick step and then gone on the outside. We saw what it did to the best defense in the league in San Francisco. Right. I mean, Nick Bosa had to stay home, couldn't do what he normally did. I mean, they made people look silly. I think just the offense alone is going to be very hard for Kansas City to defend. But then again, I will come back to Nez's point, and it's Patrick Mahomes. The dude is the greatest quarterback in the league right now.
Before you go Mahomes, let's talk one thing that I want to articulate with that when you're saying the offense, the prevalency of the offense. Seventh most yards allowed to wide receivers this year. Second most touchdowns allowed to wide receivers this year, the Chiefs defense. So playing to your point.
And so in terms of the way that you put people in space, and in the way that you'll a good coach in basketball, a good NFL coach, the 49ers will get their playmakers the ball. They do the same thing, but it's like they're doing it pre-snap, and they're doing it with the way that their formation is set up. Because next thing you know, you have 2 plays that are wide open handoffs, and it's like Jalen's going to keep it or he's going to hand it off to Miles, and either way they're both blocked perfectly and they're schemed up, and boom, it's like that's what this offense does to you. And I watched like a little breakdown going like this, just seeing the historic of what they're doing, chugging along. They make it seem so easy, like it's like that's what another thing is. Like I was like, are they really that great? It's like, oh wow, no, they're that great. Like look at stats and all this. They just make it seem like it's just easy peasy. Like they're just,
So one thing I will say about playing a zone read scheme against the Chiefs versus against the Niners is I would say that Chris Jones is probably other than Aaron Donald. I think Chris Jones might be the best interior defensive line in football to play against that.
Yeah, he's the best. Well, we can say he's the best AFC like defensive lineman. Yeah. Like we can just say it like that. He's the best AFC defensive lineman out there. Stats will back it up. Grades will back it up. Yeah, the dude's a manimal. So yeah, I mean, obviously that's the one guy they're going to have to be scheming against. That's going to be the Eagles' biggest thing, is to take him out of the game. I'm assuming. So
yeah, I like that. I like that shout a lot. Which then leads us to when we're building lineups and we're building through this, how are we going to factor in how we think this game is going to play in each lineup we build? Because I've kind of gotten away from, hey, look at where ADP is going, look at whatever. And I've started pre-scripting narratives of how I want my build to look. And in certain things, even if I get an ADP fall, I will build in a certain way regardless. That's kind of where I'm at with my building right now. I've kind of gone, hey, if the super team falls to me, I consider it, but they're falling so seldomly that now I'm trying to get really galaxy brain with my narratives and be like, if I start with Mahomes, well, what do I want on the bring back there?
Yeah.
Well, that might be a Kenneth Gainwell team because let's paint the script in which they're trailing, right? Like, and I'm really trying to think through game script in my four player builds right now. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I'm really
I like
liking
that.
I think it's smart. It's definitely smart whenever in this contest, especially have an idea of what you're trying to build and or at least have multiple outs to what you're trying to do. Like whether depending on your draft spot and depending on what falls to you. I've been really into these like different 3-1 type of builds that that similar to what we saw with like on the Run the Sim show with Pete with the different outcomes with the different sims that they pulled up. It's a lot of onslaughts that these models seem to really like. One thing that I will say is that a lot of those models did come out like you had to specifically tell the model like, hey, I don't want I don't want to script an Eagles win, because everything you saw was like various 5-1 onslaughts of like Eagles and then one Chief. Eagles, one Chief, Eagles, one Chief. So if that's something that you want to do, by all means do that. And I think doing that with like Butker as your one-off, I think is the most logical way to build that, or doing 3 Chiefs and then Jake Elliott, I think is the absolute best way to do that, because that tells a story of none of the skill players get home along with the quarterback, and Jake Elliott is a piece that you need from the other team side. So doing 3 with 1 kicker, I think has been probably my favorite way to build.
I like that. I mean, we know my thoughts on kickers. I think the scoring does not set up well for them, but that doesn't mean that they don't have, 9, 11 point range of outcome as well, right? I bring up the Run the Sims here, beautiful tool that Justin Freeman made for DFS, but it is directly applicable to our contest, like Nez is saying, and it's free for the Super Bowl. So get in there, mess around. You can pull scores, you can change totals, you can do all that sort of different, manipulation, and then it spits out lineups for you for the showdown contest. We'll just look at those in a sound logical pattern and then just port that same idea to the underdog streets, right?
You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
It's a little imperfect because salary versus ADP does not directly line up, but it gives us a barometer, right? It gives us a spectrum to deal with, opposed to just flying blind in these contests, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that shout a lot there. Numi, anything to add there? Any players you guys are warming up to? Any ADPs that look wrong to you?
No, it's hard to warm up to anyone when you haven't drafted a contest. So, but
it's the big game, Numi. Fucking get in there, dude.
No, I'm 100%. I'm 150% good on these. Totally fine. But no, yeah, I mean, just I like the narratives. I like doing exactly what you did with the Run the Sims. Once I saw that yesterday, or when I saw that with Justin, it's like, oh, that's a easy way to kind of like just gonna run the calculations and just say, oh, if they're spitting out this, you can just kind of build them in the 4-man here. So that's
Tony's moved up a good bit. Same with Juju.
I think you were right. You were all over that, Nez, early in the week last week, where we're like, hey, these guys had the Q tags and they were at like 15, 14, and people were scared to click their names. And now that they got those P and the big green exclamation mark, whatever it is, like these guys are shooting up the draft boards and people are clicking on them with certainty. And as a result, MVS is falling as well.
Yes.
Right? So
yes, he is.
For me, the biggest decision points on the slate are between the 3 Chiefs wide receivers, right? Like if you get exploitative with one of the 3 Chiefs wide receivers and be like, this is the guy and this is who I'm leaning into. And then the 3 Chiefs running backs. Because what we saw from Jerick McKinnon 2 weeks ago, season high in snaps, season high in carries. Then all of a sudden, the following week, we see the script flip completely, and Pacheco has 6 catches, I think it was 5 catches, ran more routes than Jerick McKinnon in that week. And it's like, holy shit, like where did this come from? And now we throw CEH into that kind of muddied water whether he factors in at all or he just fills the Rojo role and, has one carry, who knows? But like, it becomes a very interesting.
Picture this: one carry, 68 yards,
68
down at the inch line, never get the snap again.
Okay, Newman, you want the real picture of this? Okay, here we go. Give me.
Buddy,
give me
I don't
1
need
second.
you to tell me because I wake up with sweats. Just
no. This is a new one.
This is
a new one.
Picture this. I'm just like, I've been picturing it literally.
No. This is a new one, buddy. This is a new one. Okay,
right.
Ready? This.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm closing my eyes.
To wake up to. Here we
Picture
go.
this.
Oh.
Picture
God.
this.
PTSD.
Okay. Picture this. 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. 12 personnel. MVS split out wide left. Travis Kelce in the backfield. Mahomes taps that.
I'm done.
Listen. I formation. 12 personnel. I formation. He's
That's
lined
not
up as a
12.
fullback.
That's 22.
No. It's 12. It's still. That's 12. 20. Okay, whatever.
The one stands for how many running backs are in the backfield.
Jesus Christ.
It's 21.
Worse than your Mo Bamba story.
No. Okay. Listen to me. Okay. Taps his foot. Motions out left. Kelce motions out left. He's split out wide. Now we got 2 split out wide left, right? But we got 2 tight ends on the field.
Delay of game.
No. Listen. Snap comes back. Play action. Looks MVS's way. Nothing there. Kelce sits down. Dig route. Like he just sits down for that little like underhand. You know that little underhand shovel pass that they do by the goal line? Yeah. Mahomes fakes it. Not there. Right? Backfield, McKinnon rolls out left, flat, nothing there. Pump fake left. Now he looks right. Who is wide open on the right side? Who just threw a chip block off the line and then runs right out into the flat? Noah Gray, wide open, all by himself. Ball into his hands. He walks into the end zone. There's not a defender in sight because all the motion and everything's going left. And Noah Gray, boop, right there. Touchdown, Noah Gray. Chiefs win 17-9. Mahomes, Noah Gray, Jerick McKinnon, Jake Elliott is the team you need. What do you guys think?
I love it. You're gonna need if you want your largest portion of the pie, you got to take a guy like Noah Gray. But 12 personnel means 1 running back in the backfield, 2 tight ends.
Okay. I
just for the chat.
That's what we were going with.
You said and then you said I formation.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay, but I don't think.
Sorry.
No, personnel doesn't matter what the formation is. Personnel is just number of bodies on the field. So 12 is like 1 running back, 2 tight end. It doesn't matter where they line up.
If it's I formation, that's 22.
Okay.
Or 2x. You know what I'm saying? Like
we got to get Hayden in here. Hayden will teach us some real fucking football knowledge.
It's facts.
Oh my god! All right, let's draft some teams. And let's draft some goddamn Noah Gray teams.
Hey, go check Discord, just the main channel.
No, why?
Yeah, just do it.
Just tell me. Send me a link.
I can't send a picture link to you, sir.
What is it? Just tell me.
It's gold. It's meme gold.
Oh, it's a meme. Okay, I got it. All right. All right, let's do this. Let's try and flip the board here. Let's do a couple of these. I'm really into the football stuff now. Let's do a couple of these. It's the big game. I want to have a little sweat. I want to have a sweat in the fourth quarter. I don't care if I'm duped 25 ways. I want that, I want that sweat.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I've got some good teams, man. I will say I've got some really good teams that I drafted early, and I got some today even that I like, but they're built differently. Was able to get, and it's been tough for me, man. I'm not getting any super teams, but I'm getting teams of value that I feel like aren't available now. But I was able to get some Hertz Goddard teams, which like my first two today, that was really tough for me. I wasn't able to get any premium stacks until today. So maybe people are trying.
Oh, I love it. Flipping the board, Kelsey at 101. This is the shit you got to do. Jacob Starr, let's go. Love to see it. Holy crap.
But a lot of like Tony Juju, like late picks that I feel really good about. So definitely got to do that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, there's definitely going to be some teams that exist out there that aren't possible now that happened early. But we just got ourselves a Mahomes AJ Brown. That might be my first of that combination. Yeah. That might be my first of that combination.
I only have one of those.
And you know what we're not going to do, Nez? We are not going to strap the condom on this one. Oh,
by what?
I don't know. We're just not doing it.
I would hate to put a condom on this team.
Either way, we could let John make all 4 picks, and then after the draft, he'd find a way to spin it how he wished we would have went a little different direction on one of the picks. That's my favorite part.
Yep, that's how this show works, do we? Do we set this up to be a Mahomes double? Take MVS here and then hope for Tony on the way back. If that doesn't come to fruition, I think MVS is the pick here. I don't know. Where do you guys come out on MVS? Yeah, where do you come out on MVS versus Tony?
Flip a coin. Don't know. Like,
all right, let's the same.
Give me Tony, dude. Tony. I love the way that Tony gets used.
Okay.
And if he's active, then we should feel pretty good. Okay. His goal line work is nice.
Now I think the condom move is to take one of these kickers here, right? Like that's the condom move.
Yeah, that is the condom move, is to take a kicker.
That is the condom move. We're not taking a kicker. What do we think? Boston Scott's the only guy who scores a touchdown on the ground. He's got 3 straight games with a touchdown. You think he comes in there, scores a touchdown for us?
I like Boston Scott on that team.
Why not, right? Why not? Let's give ourselves a path, right? Noah Gray fit that team pretty well as well, where you just make the hedge of Gray over Kelsey for the touchdown score. I'm liking that team. I'm feeling that.
Boston Scott, man, like he's getting work. They all get work. It's just a matter of like Numi said, I mean, flipping a coin of who's going to score the touchdown there. But I mean, he's getting used.
I like it. Hey, do me a favor, guys, when we're drafting these teams and stuff, we got 60 of us watching right now. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you are not already doing so. Hit that thumbs up 3 times for us. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, don't do it twice because it'll
do it twice. Out. Do it 3 times. You can do it once or 3 times. That's it.
Yeah, you hit it 3 times, double tap the dislike.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun little different team there. Let's talk about that. The backfield we talked about it a little bit a couple shows ago. How the Miles Sanders role. Miles Sanders didn't touch the ball for the last 2 quarters of that Niners game. That means Philadelphia trusts all 3 backs, right? Like that's what that says to me. That also says to me, hey, we had this game in hand. We don't really have to lean in to Miles Sanders in this isolated instance.
Right. It is hard to like take that Niners game and take anything from it. I almost feel like you have to throw that out the window.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
It's like that wasn't even like a real game. You know,
right.
like that was like, what do you even call that?
One thing I will say for certain with Miles Sanders is he does not catch passes in this offense. Like they just have not targeted him in this offense.
Right.
And you guys want to take Kelsey here and see what happens?
Yeah.
It's so hard not to, right?
I know, man.
Once the 2 quarterbacks go, I think my favorite builds are when we can pair the quarterback with a pass catcher who we think is unviable, or we can do naked Hurts. And by unviable, I mean like not routinely picked, like not standard. Yeah,
I think naked Hurts makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, me too.
Like I think that's a really, really interesting way to do it.
1-3 with naked Hurts, right?
Pacheco at 5 is like throwing me off.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward, baby.
Let's take Smith here and see what happens. I will point out one thing that I wanted to bring up was FanDuel is the closest scoring system to Underdog. They have their projections up at ETR now. Here's a little peek behind the curtain momentarily. Isaiah Pacheco's ceiling projection and Jerick McKinnon's are identical. They're a 0.1 difference. And then their raw projections are like a 0.3 difference in Isaiah Pacheco's favor. Yet their rankings for this contest have Jerick McKinnon above Miles Sanders and Isaiah Pacheco at 7. So I don't really know what they're trying to tell us with that or what we're trying to make of that. For me here, it's Jerick McKinnon, and then we get weird with the last pick. Do you guys agree, disagree? Do you want to do somebody else?
No, I think McKinnon here makes sense for this team. Okay. I wouldn't want to do. I think this is where it feels bad, but I think this is where maybe you fade Juju and Tony from the pass catching standpoint, especially now that we took McKinnon. It's like, just don't fall for the fact that they're the biggest names on the Chiefs on this build, right? Because we already have Kelsey. It's like, okay, well, Kelsey's a black hole for targets, and he's taking them all. And then McKinnon's role gets reestablished because, of course, it is because he's the best. Mm-hmm. But now I'm looking at Tony, and it's like,
and now we're looking at Tony. And it's like, what do we do, right? Yeah, that's the problem with these drafts. Is like you create these narratives for yourself, and then it's just like, oh my God, Kadarius Toney's just like leaps and bounds bigger than this. Like, there's no way that you can convince me that any of these other guys has a better shot. Okay, we're gonna take Tony. We're gonna call him. I know. The way they used Kadarius Toney at the start of last game was like, hey man, this guy might be like our WR1. You know, he got the end zone shot that he almost came down with. He got like, you know, it is very interesting that Kadarius Toney and CEH to me both represent like such extreme outliers in terms of what we could get from them this game.
Exactly. Like, right? Like those are
high variance pieces.
Super high variance, which if you're playing for $50K, it's kind of what you want, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I'm surprised that Tony isn't shooting up more. Like, I'm really, really surprised that he is not going like third round to the to the Mahomes team. Sorry, I'm getting like give me 1 second. I got to take a call real quick. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I think in terms of like the Tony narrative there, Numi, is like he was kind of viewed as like after their bye week, will he come back and be a role player and be like on the field at length, or is he like a glorified gadget player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we kind of saw a little bit of like that, hey, maybe he's going to be a role player at the start of last game, and then he gets hurt right away. And now I don't know what to do with buying into that or not, right?
Yeah, I don't know what to do. Like I don't have any trust, faith, leans, anything. Like I don't get giddy for Kadarius Toney like Nez and you boys do. Like I just don't understand. That's not someone I get in the context of the people around him, but like he's just not someone I'm just really excited when I'm clicking like, oh, look at this. It's like
that's fair.
It's like what, 2 targets a game? Like what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he has like a couple extra, but like it's just we just said Kelsey's the black hole guy. Like they already have all these other weapons there. It just seems like literally it's just a dart throw. Like literally just pick a random, put each guy on a random number generator, click it, and then that's the guy you're drafting every draft is whatever one comes up. Like that'll make your life a lot easier rather than you saying you picked one of the guys. Like because that's literally what it comes down to, is it not? With all of those boys, like Juju's becoming what you thought he was, leaps like a tier above them. He has now come down back to earth where it's like between MVS, Juju, Tony, Hardman's not there. So it's like those 3, you had Hardman at one point. It's like literally what guy is going to be the next one after Kelsey. So, and it's just that point. Yeah, honestly, like if I was doing it, they would each get a 1, 2, and 3 in the random number generator, and I would click it each time, and that's the one that would come up. So the decision is not me.
Let's do it. Let's set up the RNG right now. We'll do it. Okay, hold on. We'll do it in a second. Yeah, this is fun. James bringing up the practice reports right now that Kadarius Toney's running around like crazy. I loved it so much.
What does
The
that
wording of
mean?
it.
He's running around like good, or he's just being
No,
Kadarius
no,
Toney and being
no.
crazy? Like,
He's running around like crazy. It's good. It's
yeah,
like because of the injury, right?
yeah. See, I read that immediately, and I'm like, he's running around like crazy. Like he's literally like
crazy.
just running around, freaking out like Antonio Brown-esque. That's what I'm imagining in my mind. Throwing
Oh,
gloves to the
man.
fake stands, people there. You know what I mean? Like he's just.
Oh, massive Sixers trade. What? Numi, you got boots on the ground for me?
I don't know. I have everything silent, so I have to go check. It's gonna be the smallest trade ever, Chip. Like
I know it is.
it's the troll.
I know. I hope you know who I hope it is. I hope it's Shake. I hope Shake went somewhere where he gets to play.
No, it's not. It's Matisse Thybulle to the Blazers, Jalen McDaniels to the Sixers, and Svi Mikhailuk and multiple second-round picks to the Hornets.
What's the point?
I got nothing.
What's the point?
There you go. I talked about it.
Thybulle will play, right?
But
actually
Mikhailuk is getting traded. It's getting added in every trade, isn't he? Isn't he been in like 2 trades already?
I do not know.
Yeah, he was a part of the Cam Reddish show. The Blazers sent him to the Knicks. Or no, the Knicks sent him to the Blazers, and then the Blazers just sent him back to
So he's been involved in 2 trades now.
Yes. So yeah, now he's going to the Hornets. Wow. So yeah, he was a Knick, a Blazer, and now he's a Charlotte Hornet. Tough.
Here's an interesting question. Do you think? I don't think trades have the same stigma in the NBA that they once did.
You'll have people in the chat. You already have the people in our chat that are already talking about personalities and how they weight people and all this. Like, there's people that will say, and that they'll, to their reputation and what they think is all this, like their standards, they'll say, yes, KD did this, KD did that. Now, in terms of like him as just if you want to separate that from in terms of just the basketball, like it's a totally different era and people can do what they want and get out of anything and demand that. Like,
I like that the players have control now. Like, I think it's like,
the owner
shouldn't. Right? Like, they have a valued skill set. And for me, this doesn't tarnish their reputation at all, because it's just like, they have a valued skill set. If I was a lawyer or if I was whatever, I can leverage my skill set to leave and go become a partner somewhere else and get more money and get what, like they have a viable skill set that they can take and move wherever they want. And I think that's correct.
The thing with Durant is he did basically like just re-sign the extension like a year or a year and a half ago. He demanded a trade twice in between that time. The team wasn't even that bad, and he's been sitting out and wanting to blow it up. So like I get people from that aspect. Like the dude, I get people coming after Durant, and I understand they like the loyalty people. They're going to be coming out like he demands too much. He did this. He just committed to them. Like he literally just signed an extension and then has demanded a trade twice, and now he's gone. You know what I mean? So I get that. For me, it won't tarnish it though. No. Let's
flip the board a little bit here. Let's do Goddard and Smith at this side and see what we end up with.
Yeah. Like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I think this is going to be the most fun I've just in general had about NBA playoffs. I really think that it's just strictly wide open. The West is showing that. The East is showing that. We've seen 1 seeds go down before. The second round of the playoffs and on is probably going to be the most competitive basketball we've seen in a while.
Hopefully. I hope that.
Yeah. I'm very excited for that. It's great stuff. So this is
here's a big one. Brett Boy breaking some news in here. Yu Darvish 6-year extension with the Slam Diego Padres. That's he
was a free agent after this year, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
That was kind of why I was really, really eating up Yu, was because it was like he's pitching. It's a contract year. He wants to go out there, give one last like big season before he can just kind of go like, all right, I got my money. We know what age is coming up. Like if I'm sucking, I'm sucking. Kind of. That was my thought. But
right.
I mean, granted, it still helps. He's going to get.
This is a fun team. Let's take both the KC running backs and just see what happens here.
I like that because then you're not relying on Mahomes. So it just makes so you're not helping other teams out in the same way.
Yeah, exactly. And you go,
least the
hey,
idea
the
is.
touchdowns funnel through the two Philly guys, and then you just bang 2 in on the ground between the 2 running backs. That's a fun little narrative and a pretty logical team. And we got ADP discount. Plus, we got a little bit weird with the front end of the build. I really like this team, like just in general. That's like the whole plan coming together, right there. Numi, you're zonked out. What's going on?
I'm just reading chat. Terrence, I totally get that. I like loyalty, but these guys, they don't have any, like they don't get to choose who drafted them. Like, it's not their
Right.
fault. They're coming in. Once their contract's up and they want to leave, they can do whatever they want. I realize that may not be your cup of tea, anyone else's cup of tea. They don't
Mhm.
have to. They don't have to do anything for their fan base. That's not. It's
Right.
literally. It's throw that out of there. They're playing a game. They're playing it for money. It's their profession. They're making a lot more money than us. It's a totally different culture. So, like,
it's just laundry, man.
And it's like it's just hilarious because, like, it's just these guys should be able to do what now. Again, in the realms of doing it less publicly and all that. It's just I don't know. I just really think that they can literally do whatever they want. They can leave whenever they want. They don't owe the fans anything. Like, literally, they don't owe the people. Like Karl Anthony Towns did not have to sign an extension with us here. He got more money by doing it that way. He got more money by doing it that way. It helped him out. But, like, he didn't have to do it. Like, will it slight me? Will it obviously, as a human, like, I'll be like, oh, you know, he's the guy that left us. That sucks. But, like, if it's a business decision for him to go somewhere else, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel similar to you, Numi. Like, I feel like they don't owe certain fan bases that. But then, like, you see the other extreme of it, the other end of that spectrum is like the Blake Griffin one. Like, the Blake Griffin, they showed him his jersey hanging from the rafters. They did like the whole walkthrough of, you're going to be a Clipper forever. You're going to do this. We're going to give you that big max deal.
Exactly, bro.
And then,
like, that's
and then it doesn't happen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to anyone out there trying to say that they're leaving mid-season. Oh, their contract isn't up. Who effing cares? These owners and the GMs lie to them nonstop. It's been proven over and over and over again. So when they do it once, they're the easy scapegoat and everyone hates on them, and it's easy to hate on them. Like, just take a step back. Take a step back and literally just realize it. Like, in basketball, you have more leverage than any other sport to demand where you want to go, how you want to go, when you want to do it, because it's just the nature of how the game has evolved. It's the most marketable sport. It's played everywhere. Like, would you, like, funny enough, who do you think the top 5 most marketable players around the world are? In there is LeBron and Kyrie. Why? Because they are on social media. They're talked about all the time, and they're in the name. They're in that, and all these other people don't care about that. They just see him playing basketball, and they see his name in there all the time. It's just, I get the fans being salty of them selling a dream and all that, but man, like, if you're not a total fan of that team, I don't think you have any say of what another fan base should feel and all that. Just shut up. Just let these guys play basketball.
You're way too passionate about this, Numi.
It's a debate that goes on a long time, and you get on Twitter and you get people thinking how they should tell people how they should feel and they should act in their business and all that. Live your own life and let the other people live theirs. Now, I get the Durant and I get the Kyrie, and I get those are exceptions, and you're saying that they sold the dream, they left mid. Those guys are different. But if you're going to do that for every single guy that signs a contract, that leaves, that demands a trade, that does this, that he's there for a couple of years, realize that this isn't his, like, people have mental health issues. People have this. It could be a whole realm of things that cause it.
Yeah. I mean, we're going down like 20 different rabbit holes here and jumping all over the place. Let's just jump into hoops draft because we're talking a little hoops here. I want to talk about that Yu Darvish one, though. Yu Darvish to me seems like a pitcher who's going to age really well. Like, I feel like that's a good extension. I mean, 42 years old is going to be kind of old, like, especially for a starting pitcher. Do you think he goes through that contract? Probably not, and they just elongate the pay like that. But, like, just in terms of, like, someone who has like 5, 6, 7 pitches, who could, like, pitch deeper later in life, even if he loses some velo, it makes so much sense to me that, you know, good ballpark, good team, win now team. That signing makes a lot of sense to me. Do you feel the same way, Numi?
Yeah. Good. I mean, they have the lineup, they have the team. So,
yeah. All right, let's talk hoops today. Today's going to be weird because we got obviously LeBron Q as always. LeBron Q. Be interesting to see what he wants to do. He didn't play out the end of the basketball game in which he broke the record because he allegedly hurt his foot, and kind of sat down for the last 4 minutes of that game when it looked like it was over, and then it wasn't actually over. But you get Giannis at the old crypto.com arena as a nationally televised game, and Chad takes Giannis. Yeah, only a 4-game slate here. I think it's just like a pretty cut and dry 1-2 for Joker and Giannis. If you get the LeBron ruled out, I doubt we get it early in the day because that's just not what LeBron does. But if you get that, would you put Anthony Davis in this conversation of the three? Would you jump either of these two guys?
I think LeBron's playing national televised game against Giannis, TNT.
Yeah.
So I think LeBron's playing for that. I think I've been talking with people, but yeah, I would put AD up there. He's already borderline right next to LeBron, kind of close. So yeah, I would put that up there, and then he would go right next to Jokic.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. We got Phoenix's rotation today. Obviously, the KD trade hasn't gone through and not in the player pool. The other one that's not in the player pool is the new additions for the Lakers. So Vanderbilt's not in there.
They're not playing.
D'Angelo Russell's not in there. Yeah, just in general. Yeah. They weren't in the player pool and they're not playing. So it's going to be very weird to see what we do at the back half of drafts here because a lot of allotted minutes aren't in existence kind of thing. Like we don't know what some of these new rotations are going to look like. I've been jumping in on some 5th round Dennis Schroeder because of that. What else you like in Numi?
Yeah, so for me, it's the Suns. The Suns are terribly mispriced in this entire contest. Yeah, go get you some Phoenix Suns in the terms of Chris Paul. It's perfect at that ADP. Dario Saric, Damian Lee, Torrey Craig. Ayton's already up there, right at that spot. So those guys you have to get. But I mean,
are you telling me you like Chris Paul here with Joker here?
I do, and I think Zach LaVine I saw was potentially being in a trade rumors. So this could be a crazy day, people. You're gonna draft people, and this is gonna be the one day they're ruled out for non-injury purposes. Just get ready for either half of your lineup not mattering or being ruled out, or just kind of wait till that deadline's up. But
it feels like it's gonna be a really low scoring slate, like just in general.
Yeah, you have that high total game, which could be a dud kind of in Milwaukee and the Lakers at 240. And if that's any sort of a duddish, then yeah, these games are looking not that great.
Do we take LaVine at 3 here? Do we take the Jrue Holiday nationally televised? No, he's playing.
Let's do Jrue Holiday. I mean, I have him higher than LaVine anyway. So
okay, perfect, cool. Yeah, I like that. Nice little start here. The Joker, CP3, and Jrue. Let's do it. Wow, Chad leaning in here too. 61%. Sorry. There you go.
That'll do it. No. Yeah, I am going to have quite a bit of him. He's just super free. He's going to be a swap option too. So that's something, an angle you can play too. If you know there's people that are valued, but I mean, he's starting to get drafted quite a bit too by other people. But like if there's a way where you can draft someone else or get Q tags, you have Qs in your lineup, and you maybe want to like make sure that you get these guys in there, you could take someone else in the 5th and 6th that it still project well, kind of watch. And then if these Suns guys don't get picked, then you have like a free swap for anyone that's available. So
I like that. Matt bringing up something interesting in the chat about after a team gets blown up on the deadline, do they get rocked their next day? I have no data to back this up and whatever, but you can definitely see that, hey, this is an entirely new Brooklyn team playing today. Like, what is that rotation going to look like? What is the chemistry going to look like? And I do share a similar line of thinking here that, like, I don't know what the spread says. Do you know what the spread says, Numi?
Yeah, for Brooklyn and Chicago.
Or here, let's make the pick right here.
Updated here.
First. Middleton,
What's that?
Wagner,
Let's do. Oh man,
Simmons,
this is
maybe
so
getting some
gross. This is such a gross
big
area.
minutes.
Let's do Bogdan. It's really gross. Like one of these guys, you can tell me that they look better. And I would agree. I would probably each draft find a guy that I think looks better each time. I'm like, this guy looks better now. This guy, but I mean, once you get into this, what are we even in? Yeah, like the 20 range. Whew, it is. They are very similar looking in terms until you get down to 30. Between like 40 and 37 points I have here. So like it's just interchangeable. If I were to
in terms of projected points.
Yeah, and then just when you get there, like it's just there's no guy that you like to click. There's some guys that you see there that you like enjoy clicking, it seems like. So
I think Capella has a pretty safe floor comparative to the group, but I think Simmons is my favorite here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
It's not I wouldn't say he's my favorite just because it's Ben Simmons, but in terms of projection, like if I'm going to take away the name and use a chess piece, he'd be the chess piece that continues to just hurt me over and over again. And I'm wondering why do I keep picking this X or this blank player name that's projected so well, but he doesn't do it well. That's Ben Simmons, but the spread for that is trying to find it.
What do we think the rotation for Brooklyn looks like today? I'm seeing on Roto Grinders, I'm seeing Dinwiddie, Harris, Royce O'Neal, Ben Simmons, Claxton, Cam Thomas coming off the bench, and then.
Dude, do you want to know something hilarious?
Yes.
The Nets are favored.
Wow.
The Nets are favored against this god awful Bulls team.
Well, that's interesting because what does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, in terms of like what the market's seen that we're not. Like, do they know Levine's moving? Like, does Vegas know that Levine's on the move and DeRozan's gonna sit if this is like a favored spot for the Nets? Like, is that what that line is telling us? I don't know.
Yeah, I would, because those are two guys that are the best players on the Nets. Like, if you put any other one of those guys on the Nets, they're the best player on the Nets, and I think they've got to be. Okay, so here is Saric in there. Type in Dario.
How about Andre Drummond? Saric is gone.
I would do Torrey Craig. If you want to do Drummond, he's not even close to my radar.
I would just say, okay, this is my thinking with Drummond. My thinking is if there's a trade or if something weird happens, he's like the highest fantasy point per minute producer out there. So if I'm going to take a swing on a dude who's like an extreme outlier on a short slate in the 6th round, it's going to be the extreme variance of Andre Drummond.
I'd rather do it as a swap.
Sure, yeah.
I'd rather
but then everybody does it as a swap.
Yeah, I'm out on Drummond. I don't see the vibe. I don't see the vibe. I get your thesis thinking. It's just he's not someone that I'm gonna like. He's not someone I'm gonna click unless like Vooch gets traded or it's told that they're like down players, like they have 8 and like he needs to play some type deal because he's not gonna play.
I'm just saying. I'm just galaxy braining, getting ahead of a narrative. That's all I'm doing.
Yes, but that's worse than TJ McConnell. He has less use case than TJ McConnell if like the starters are in, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like it basically there was a time where like I'm gonna take TJ McConnell. If the other guy starts, like, okay, TJ will still get some backup run. He won't totally sink, but he will sink your lineup.
Yeah, we saw it last night with TJ.
Yeah, Drummond will legitimately like he is the ultimate boomer bust, like 0 or 50. And you're most likely getting 0. Even if he does get 10 minutes, you probably get 0. Just kidding. He's a fantasy point per minute monster. But like, yeah, like it's just don't get me wrong. He's the guy that you jam in. He's the Nas Reed types. He's the Bobons.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's a good comp.
Well, Boban doesn't
Reed
play.
Comp's a good one.
Yeah.
No, the Nas Reed one's a really good comp.
No, Chad, there's not. But I mean, technically, the whole team should be on the block. They need to blow it up and get whatever they can for it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there is no like actual like rumors or anything.
Yeah. As feedback from the Discord the other day, okay, so do you want to lean into LeBron here? Do we think LeBron's a better play than AD tonight, or do we think the safety of AD right now trumps LeBron?
Let's do AD. LeBron,
Okay.
LeBron's coming down. You know, he's still drinking that wine, recovering. He broke his record. He doesn't really care. He's not going to get up for this. Like,
Yeah.
80's gonna. No, I don't know.
AD had a bad game last game too. Like he was
it was the LeBron
invisible.
game. But no,
No,
those
not
guys
even
tough.
just like from a real life basketball standpoint.
bad,
too.
I know.
Like he was just bad. Yeah.
I know. I'll have to check that. I'll see what he did here. But yeah, no, like those guys, I'd rather like it's tough because like honestly, the ceiling, I give it to AD. AD has that ceiling. You know what I mean? Like LeBron's good for what seems like 45 to like 55 points a night. Like there's LeBron, that's what you're getting. Versus you have AD who can like kind of have that, but then he can also put up that 80 burger or that 70-80 burger, you know what I mean? And really just go out. Did he say Sadiq Bey?
Yeah, Sadiq Bey rumors with Golden State, and talking a little bit here, Patrick Williams as an overlooked name on Team Scroll the F Down. I really like that name. I like that name.
Yeah, I think he's showing up. Yeah, he's viable. He's actually right on the edge of the
Numi, should we fuck him? Should we fuck him and we take the greatest basketball player of all time staring us in the face here, or should we take the good UW boy?
I think we take the good Murray's a Washington guy?
Oh, yeah. DeJounte, baby. I went down and saw him a couple times. Of course. Good UW boy.
Oh, yeah, he was a good UW boy. I forgot that. Wasn't Fultz a good UW boy?
Uh-huh. Yeah, man. They've had some really good, Isaiah Stewart. Like, they've had some really good talent run through that program.
I wonder if there's going to be
for a few years there.
I wonder if there's going to be a study that comes out that's like first round or number one overall picks that their college team didn't make the playoffs or didn't make the NCAA tournament. Like, look at their like how they do in the league and all this stuff. And then you get granted, I think it might only be Ben Simmons and Fultz. There might be other ones, but like those were always the guys like. Are they good enough to lead their NBA team if they couldn't even get their college team into the playoff? Like what? And it's all
right. Yeah. I'm sure someone's got something out there about that. Yeah. Who do you like out of this holiday?
Give me Drew, man.
Paulo.
Give me that highest total game. Give me the guy in there. That's where just the easy click for me there. Highest total
for
game.
For all the Westbrook slander. Holiday has a way easier job on the defensive end tonight versus the Schroeder, the Pat Bevs, the something like that than he would have against Russ. I will say that.
Well, Russ would have come off the bench, so I don't know how much Drew would have been on Russ. But
tell me one time, baby.
Do they have a good squad? I have no idea. Don't follow.
They're a really good football team right now. Yeah, real nice football team right now. And Michael, what's his last name? Penix. Yeah, he's coming back next year. Number one passing offense in the country. 2 wide receivers with over 1K yards.
I was watching that. Who did they get blown? They beat Michigan State, and then they're just blown out. Or it was a high scoring game, and they allowed a lot of points. Who did they? Because they were like Washington was looking good, and all of a sudden,
yeah. They looked so good after that, and then they lost a game that they should have won at Arizona State in like a shootout that they had no business losing, and then they lost.
Herm Edwards X squad.
Yeah. And they lost at UCLA. Like they shouldn't have lost that game.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
At UCLA,
that was a high scoring one.
Yeah, UCLA, like obviously Chip Kelly offense, but like also they had. Let's make this pick here. I don't know why, but Wagner always jumps out to me. But which one do you like?
Marco Fultz.
Fultz? Yeah. Dude, this is for the brand. 2 good UW boys on the same team. Let's go. Yeah, but that UCLA game, UCLA was 9 or 11 in the country when they played them. And then UCLA fell off the map after that. But Baby C's saying a bad loss too. I don't think it was that bad. Like I didn't think it was good, but I didn't think at the time of that game, it wasn't that bad a loss, I don't think. But they lost in back-to-back weekends, I think, or 2 out of 3 weekends, and then came back and played really strong down the stretch, and then obviously beat Texas without Texas's 2 best offensive players in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, 40 to 32 they lost.
Yeah, close game. All right,
Yeah,
so Wagner
16 on
falls
the
back to us here. Dario still on the board there. I think Dario is going to be a big thrust up guy for me here.
Yeah.
But buying the ADP dip on Wagner feels nice.
Yeah, we could do Wagner. He just
I
seems
don't
like he's
think-
good for like 25, 30 points. Like that's literally just what he feels like he's good for.
Right, and I think that's enough on a slate like
It is.
this. when you
That's the good
start
point.
with-
It's 4-game slate. You get down here,
Yeah.
it's pretty disgusting. Yeah. I wonder if I'm locking myself into someone when there could just be a lot of other openings very quickly that all of a sudden look like much better smash spots. That's my thought.
Okay, let's talk about.
But
some
I
of
don't-
those-
I
let's
just
talk
don't
about some
know
of those
who's a
potential
Q take.
openings.
to draft
Yeah.
there. Well, I mean, it's just
Fair.
really so. I guess anyone that's in the lineup today. So you just think about like, I mean, the Bucks and Lakers seem to be set. Denver and Orlando really seem to be set unless Orlando does a little trade with any of their big men. Like Phoenix and Atlanta seem to be set unless Atlanta just does some weird stuff. I won't even get into that. Atlanta screwed themselves in the thing. Like DeJounte Murray has so much leverage in terms of that. The Atlanta in like 2 years not even going to be the same team they are. And Chicago and Brooklyn. So it's really just Chicago that we're kind of waiting on for teams on this slate that could really open up backdoor opening. And that's
Value. Okay.
Any of the Levine, Vooch, I doubt DeRozan gets traded. So it's those two.
Okay. Yeah. So the biggest movers and shakers would be the DeRozan being ruled out, regardless of whether it's a trade or not, but most likely not a trade. And then the potential prospects of Levine and Vooch being traded. Those are the two biggest dominoes that could fall today, IMO, or in Numi's opinion. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Oh, John Collins, that's a good one too. But I don't think anyone wants.
He's
to
been a
take that
trade candidate
contract.
for like years.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants that John Collins contract.
Yeah, I guess you can always throw. Yeah, with the Hawks, it's like it's literally all them boys.
This is setting up. Oh, thank you. Fat Balls took Ben Simmons from us so that we didn't have to there. Is there anyone name who's jumping out? This is a very solid team we got here, Numi.
Yeah, let's see. I'll scroll up for a second.
No one's ever told me to scroll up before.
Jeez. Let's do Io Dosunmu.
All right, let's go with Chip's take. Chip saying that Io is going to be the player you need today.
I think. I mean that's the guy that could move up. That you're no longer going to have the option to take in the 6th. He's going to be a guy that's people are thrusting up. If that happens, you know what I mean.
Yes.
So
if a trade ensues, yeah, Fat Ball's doing the old Lord's work here and taking Simmons off our hands there because I was going to click his name. I was clicking his name. I
Yeah, and I will shout out Nick here. Kobe White's a good name too. In those Caruso, I don't know how many minutes did he get back last time because he just came back from missing. So Caruso is probable. He played 26. Yeah, so I mean he's another guy in there that I like the other guys better. But I mean Caruso is definitely a name that could TJ McConnell type. You know what I mean? Like literally. Scrappy guy that you're just like, we're really but next thing you know, he's the only one out there giving 150%. And that's mad.
We didn't touch on totals and spreads off the top. The Brooklyn and Bulls game is the closest right now at 1.5. Everything else is close to 7, 6.5, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And then the game totals themselves, though this is the closest spread, it is the lowest total on the slate as well. Basically the Nuggets rested everyone last game, right? That was last game. Other than Joker. I don't know. I'm kind of like shooting out of my ass here. I was just kind of things that we buried the lead on there.
Yeah.
And then nobody's back to back. So that's good.
Yeah, we
Is
just have the Bucks
anyone-
and the Suns on a front end. That's the
front
only
end.
thing.
Bucks and Suns are front end. Okay. So that Suns narrative is very interesting. It's crazy to see Atlanta as 7-point favorites after the Suns just made like that big deal and stuff like that. But obviously, Book's not in the lineup and KD's not in the lineup.
Well, I don't even know when
it's
KD
just funny.
is going to be. Like, he was without a timetable, so like,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he just goes like, KD, 1 week to ramp up and good to go. Like he's out
Right,
of Brooklyn.
yeah.
Now we have a timetable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so true.
I will agree with this little take here. Not to beat a dead horse, but I think I agree. I think he did fail with his super team. When you bring in when you and Kyrie sign and you bring in James Harden and now none of you guys are there.
Right.
I would say that's a failure. That's a failure.
That's the second time in which the Nets have tried to build a super team.
Yeah.
Right.
The
Because they did the Garnett experiment before. Remember,
the only thing is they're a little bit more set up this time. Not that much. But yeah, the Garnett thing where they just gave up all of a sudden they were relevant for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it just was like, oh, there go the Nets.
Yeah.
And it was like,
they're like, how did the Celtics win? Give us those guys.
There was one point it was for like 4 years. It was just goes, no, it's like, this is the year the Nets finally get their first round pick now. They don't have to give it to Boston. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, that's good. Yeah, good show, fun show. Our boy Nez had to jet on us there. Everything's all good, but
I heard all of a sudden he answered the phone. I hit, oh yo, it's Mr. Worldwide, and he had to quickly leave,
then he had to go. Yeah, he had to go.
He's just like, it's sorry, I had to call.
See his guy. Yeah. All right. Appreciate everybody hanging out. We still got 50 of us. Hit that like button on the way out the door for us. Good luck to everybody in the hoop streets tonight. We will be back tomorrow. We will be talking a little more foosball. Who knows? Maybe we can finagle our way into a way too early draft with the Underdog Peoples. I know that they're going to be doing some drafts from the live location from the setup in Arizona. Who knows? Maybe we could sneak our way in there. Even though I offered to drive the bus and told them I'd come down, I'd fly myself down. Nobody took me up on the offer. They just didn't want my ego coming through that door, huh?
They said, well, okay, I think literally this is what happened. Ready? It went over under how many stories he's gonna tell. Someone started at 20, and they went way too many. And they said,
we can't have that guy here.
We'll spend the terms and service next year, and we'll get that ironed out.
You love to see it. Yeah, good luck in the puck streets tonight. Puck prize pool has been upped. We were gonna put Nez's model to the test and do a puck draft, but he had to jet, and admittedly, I got some stuff to take care of right now as well. So best of luck in the puck streets tonight. Yeah, Cam Thompson by himself. That is the takeaway. Cam Thompson is the super team. You love to see it.
Thompson,
there it is.
Yeah, new guy in the player pool. Cam Thompson.
Cam Thomas. There you go. Oh, you love to see it. All right. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We'll be hanging out in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. If you are not a member of that, the link below.
And join the Donk Fest,
good
baby.
luck yeah, we're going to have a couple more Donk Fests coming up. You love to see it. Back tomorrow, same badge time, same badge channel. Oh, and Andy, he threw out a tweet earlier today, and we retweeted it there. Andy 8052, who's been mixing up in the NBA streets, does Club Top Shot with Pete and Clay and Pete and Jack and all those guys. Yeah. He's going to be coming on the program next week, talking a little bit of NBA with us. Anything else, Numi?
Yeah, I should have touched this when we had the most people, but the time has come, ladies and gentlemen. The freak in the sheets. Mm-hmm. He's done the work. Tomorrow for a second episode of Badge Bros Unhinged. We will be, granted, it's a time that works for him, so sorry we cannot do the main slot. But we will be bringing on the Freak in the Sheets baseball. We'll need to get the Spanish version for golf, as we are going to be touching on the Albatross and the warm-up for the PGA. We're going to be doing all things PGA, best ball. We're going to have a sheet for everyone that's going to be debuting at the time of the show when it goes live.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. As you know, we're going to talk about it, but you and Nez have the open in to come in and start chatting all your PGA knowledge that I know you got over there. Talk UW boys.
There you go.
So yeah, well, help me spread the word. If you see anyone in the Discord between now and tomorrow talking about golf, I'm going to be hyping it up with me. It's going to be great. There's
Perfect.
nothing out here covering it. So this will be the first content covering it. Free sheet, free guide, free rankings. Let's roll, huh?
Yeah, love it so much. That's great. I mean, not much golf content out there, so you love to see it.
Yeah,
love to see it.
All right.
Okay, so 2 shows tomorrow. We will be back regular time slot, and then Numi doing golf with Chris in the afternoon/evening there. We will fill you in tomorrow. Everybody's favorite time of the show. On behalf of myself, Numi, and Nez, use promo code BADGE at sign up. If you're not playing on Underdog Fantasy, what are you doing with your life? 100% match deposit up to 100 USD. Go get it. Promo code BADGE. It's like $3 million. Go get it. Go get it. All right. On behalf of myself, Numi, and Nez, the Badge Bros are out. Everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.